Today I'm going to be reviewing The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo that came out in 2019, and man, I cannot show you any hardly footage of this. Just take my word for it. The movie starred Daniel Craig as a entrepreneur journalist, that goes around and tries to solve a crime. Under a request by the late and great Chris Plummer, who wants him to try to figure out who's behind this murder and what officially happened, which leads him and his partner, played by Rooney Mara, to go around and try to solve the crime before it's too late and things get way, way worse. I will say this: The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is a very confusing, very, very interesting film, but very confusing nonetheless. The film was mainly focused on us focusing on Daniel Craig, and granted he's a great actor in this, and he does just a phenomenal job in his grand performance, and the scheme of things just as well as the late and great Chris Plummer. But there are moments that just throw me out of the movie more so than it should, especially when Chris Plummer hires him to do this detective work, but he's not a detective, rather he's a journalist. He only writes about stories, and the only reason why he is in trouble at the beginning of the film is because he printed a story not how his editor wanted to do it. So this leads him into being fired. The other remainder of the film also had to focus on Rooney Mara. Now, she's a great actress, granted, but with Rooney Mara, you get the sensation that she's thrown in this movie for a very good reason, and she goes through some hell. This is why the movie is kind of hard for me to show, because there are scenes of her doing things against her will, if you know what I mean. And it's not very pleasing when it does happen. So, yeah, but just know that she does get her revenge against the asshole who wronged her. But the entire movie is full of red herrings. It's full of ways to look at a certain problem and be like, could this person be the criminal? Could this person? Could this person? It's all revolved around a woman named Harriet who had just suddenly disappeared. Where did she go and how did she get there is beyond anybody's guess. And it goes exactly right as you'd expect, especially if you're a fan of crime dramas or mysteries. And in this case, it goes exactly as well as you expect. But the only thing is that I don't get with this film is how it had to focus on two people before it goes into the one person. While yes, Daniel Craig and Rooney Mara respectively are very great actors in their own respects, especially Daniel Craig, who has significant films under his belt, this one doesn't feel great in my opinion. Even for Daniel Craig, as good an actor as he is, this film feels like he's not giving it his all. He kind of feels a little bit misplaced. And this movie also has to deal with a lot of biblical references. They do a lot of things from like Revelations, the Bible, from the Genesis, and it's like, okay, why though? And especially that this film also has a lot of like not so good things involved in it, not just the rape and also sexual tensions against the person in the film respectively, but it also has to deal with, well, a few certain scenes of gore, of things happening to certain people, and it's not very charming in of its right. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, I remember hearing a lot of good things about it. It's based on a book series by the same name, but it's just not great, if that makes any sense. I just happened to luckily come across a copy at my local thrift store, and I thought, might be interesting for review. Yeah, then there's a lot of like nudity, a lot of sexual themes happening, and it just cannot be shown on YouTube. Because at first I thought, oh, I could do it behind a camera like I usually do. Until the scenes happen, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can't show any of this. Shit. And there is especially a scene, especially for me, because I used to be a cat dad, Yeah, there's a scene of something bad that happens to a kitty cat. Just throwing it out there. I'm not gonna go into detail, but yeah, I was like, what person would do this? But it had to do with a lot of the biblical references to, like they use a lot of the Bible quotes and whatnot. And it's like, okay, but what does this have to do towards anything? I mean, for The Omen, which I reviewed, it made sense. But for a film like The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, it did not make any sense why they throw it in here. But again, I haven't read the book. Maybe that's probably the reason why I don't understand it as much. But it's not a very good film. It's often very confusing. But which is sad because Chris Plummer, Daniel Craig, Rooney Mara, all the actors and actresses in this are doing a good performance. It's just the script, it's just not that good, followed by directing that's not that great either. I mean, you want us to care about these characters, but the one that gets the most character development is Rooney Mara's character, Elizabeth. You don't get anything else from, like, for example, you don't get anything from Daniel Craig's character. You don't hardly know anything about Chris Plummer's character. And when you get two great actors such as Daniel Craig and Chris Plummer in the same picture, you want to see more of them. There is a lot of like hard rock and some metal music involved in this, like Trent Reznor's Valhalla, which is nice. It's just, why is it in this film? The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, in my opinion, is not that great of a film, I'm sad to say. If you like it, more power to you. I think it's a very confusing mess. And this comes from a guy who does like crime dramas. I do. I really do like mysteries and crime dramas, but when you do them poorly like this, especially with the twist ending that I was like, oh, come the hell on. Yeah, it really had you really going, why was this film made? Not only that, this film is almost 3 hours long. I'm not joking. It's a little over 2.5 hours, but it feels longer because there is so much dialogue that's going on that really had you go, I understand this. Then suddenly you go, wait! No, I don't. It's a big brain teaser. It almost feels like the Riddler from Batman is sitting behind somewhere going, riddle me this! Why is it so confusing for you? Enter this movie! So, I mean, it's good in the fact that, like, you have terrific actors and just grand performances all the way around. It's just the story and the director themselves is just not going at each other. And what I mean by that is that they're not bouncing off of each other, creating great scenes. It's more like it's confusing going both ways. So it's rather than going at the same route, they're going all the way around each other. So, yeah. So if I had a grade, I don't grade my reviews or anything, but if I had to grade this film, it would be pretty much an F. It's only saved by the acting, the great acting. The soundtrack is mixed. It has some good songs and good qualities, especially some good arias and some good sonnets. But it's just not what you want in a film like this, especially for a great crime drama. People can tell me I'm wrong or that I don't get it, and I really tried. And it really sucks because this movie could have been more. It's just sadly not. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought about The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo if you saw it. And, yeah, I'm very sorry to bring up some terrible subjects in case people have been brought about to them. I mean, especially talking about the rape and the gore and what happens in here. Yeah, it's a very traumatizing movie to kind of watch. So especially for people that have been victims of all this, yeah, I can understand your point. Even for me, and I'm just saying I'm not a victim just straight outward, but even for me, it made me close my eyes and kind of cringe, like, I didn't need to know that this happened! So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time on another Lazy Cinema. Next time, we're gonna basically go away from the adult themes into animated reviews since people really love me talking about animated movies. Not kidding. Look at the views on my last video reviews of animated properties. So until next time, guys, thank you for watching. This is Radio Universe, signing out.